Now let's go to Anne Arundel County. Alexis Davila, live on your corner in downtown Annapolis. Alexis, how is it looking this morning?
I mean, a different story, right? Yesterday we were here 24 hours ago, bone dry. When we arrived here at 3 o'clock this morning, you just saw all of this completely covered. You really couldn't make much of the roadway here. Now it is drastically receding over this time very, very quickly as we are. And I do want you to kind of take a look at some of the footage that we saw earlier this morning when we arrived, just so you could really see the impact of how quickly this has changed throughout the morning. As you can see with that video, you can notice how the water has actually come all the way up to those sandbags, even to those cones area. And this was showing you the 5 feet of water above level, which is very record-breaking. But as we're coming over here, I want to talk to Mr. Mayor himself, Gavin Buckley. Thank you so much. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. You know, I want to talk about, we were just discussing how quickly this water is receding. When we arrived here at 3 this morning, it was up to here and pushed up against.
Yeah.
What do you think? Has you taken a bit of a tour this morning?
So the damage is pretty bad. So it came up higher than I've had in my term as mayor here. So I've been here for 6 years. So this is the worst flooding event we've had. It came up Main Street, but it has receded pretty quickly. But if you look at some of these back streets here, they're still really, really wet. The water is definitely up to your calves in some areas, nearly up to your knees in other areas. So we still got a long way to go, you know.
Can we talk a little bit about the efforts, though, underway that immediately on Compromise Street, putting up that flood barrier, a concept that came from city leaders taking a look in Netherlands? What does that mean to you? How do you think it fared out this time? Yeah,
we were really proud of that effort. It was good to about 3.5 feet. It kept this road behind us open for an extra 4 hours. That's one of the main arteries into the city. It goes to Eastport. So we were happy to see the traffic flowing in there for an extra 4 hours, but then when it gets to a certain level, that was not the right device that we use. So, but we will be using that in the future. It'll work 98% of the time, so we're really thrilled, and it was a really low investment, maybe $5,000, something like that, $6,000, yeah.
And speaking of the future, I remember we were back here in November talking about the plan that you want to talk about with the park. Can you go into more of that discussion about how you even thought about adjustments for flood to tackle this ongoing issue?
Yeah, what I've said from the beginning is it's not about if another Isabel, Hurricane Isabel gets here, it's going to be when it gets here. Now today wasn't a Hurricane Isabel, but Hurricane Isabel was 7 feet, this is 5 feet, but you know, it's in the mail. And so this park will prepare us against the next Isabel. So when that's finished, when this whole initiative is finished in 2026, we will have no more water in the businesses here. We'll have a dry city dock. Now, we have the rest of the city to think about, but that will take care of the historic district and the business district that we're standing in. Yeah.
And I just want to wrap up here and talking about 5 feet. We know October 2021, it was 4.9. So this is record level now. Where does this kind of put us now in terms of all the other events that we have seen in Annapolis?
I think we're getting, it's the 3rd worst. So the wind was incredibly, contributed a lot to that. So, and then it was just as they say, it was a perfect storm, you know. High wind, high tides, moon, all that sort of stuff. So,
wonderful. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank
you guys. Remember, we want to just remind our viewers as this water is receding, still be careful on those roadways. You may see some debris. There's definitely some cones out here to mitigate throughout this time. I'm going to send it right back to you guys in the studio.